Looks okay. I remember a time when I was so annoyed by high ISOs when I had my DSLR. Like everything about ISO 400 was unusable. Nowadays, the cameras can handle ISO so much better. I don't care if I'm up to 2000 ISO. It won't show in the picture, at least under 1000 ISO. Of course, the lower ISO, the less noise. But I don't really care. I care about colors, composition, things like that. It's quite loud, isn't it? This is Ristafallet, one of Sweden's biggest waterfalls. Quite powerful. Okay, let's do an experiment. I will first do a picture with 100 ISO, and then I will I will narrow down the aperture so I get 1000 ISO. And then I will figure out the settings for 4000 ISO. I have an ND filter on my camera. Let's see how it goes, and we can compare the ISO settings and see if we can see the difference. I bet that you won't see much difference between 100 and 1000 ISO. Probably we will see a little bit of noise in 4000 ISO. But let's try it.
Well, after I waited for a couple that took 2000 selfies, I could do my own experiment. So here's the first picture. The shutter speed is 1/5 of a second, f7.1, and the ISO 100. Now let's compare that with the second picture. The shutter speed is still 1/5 of a second, but this time f18, which made the ISO go up to 1000. And I cannot see much difference in noise between those two pictures. Let's see the first one again. And the second one. But when I raised the ISO to 4000, this time with the shutter speed of 1/13 of a second and f22, we are starting to see some noise in the darker areas of the photo, at least if we zoom in. But is it recoverable? On this picture, I only used Lightroom's own denoise feature. With some editing, you won't be able to see the noise at all, I think. By the way, the only edit I did to these pictures was that I raised the shadows a bit so we can see the whole captured image.
Found another spot here where I could fly my drone, which was a good thing, because with the drone I could see another spot where I can take pictures from, hopefully. I just have to walk a bit. So I let my drone do the location scouting for me. Quite good to have sometimes, really. A problem because it was quite tricky to get here. I have to go down a rather slippery slope and then also along some cliffs to get to this point. Now I have to go back. I have to figure that out. Yet another place. But this time I think it's the long lens. I've been using my Tamron 17-28 so far, the wide angle lens. Now I'm gonna change for my Tamron 28-200. Put my ND filter on that one and see if I can do like a compressed shot of a waterfall. How about that? I'm zoomed in a bit. I'm at about 90 millimeters. 1.6 seconds, which I think is the slowest I want to go. Now it's f11 and ISO 100 with an ND filter on. I'm gonna do faster shutter speeds, which means that I have to raise my ISO. I don't think I have to raise it so much that the ISO will be 4000, but maybe somewhere around 640, 800 eventually, because I'm gonna take like 5 or 6 pictures, the same frame, but with different shutter speeds. Because you never know how the water will look until you come home, how the water will look, if it's smooth enough, if it's frozen enough. I don't think I want it really smooth this time, because it's such a big different distance. It's such a big distance, and I lose the power of water if I smooth it out too much. So I don't think 1.6 seconds will do it. I'm guessing like 1/10 of a second, 1/15 of a second, somewhere around that. But let's see. Okay. I'm not saying that you never should bother about ISO. Of course you should bother. But I'm saying don't be afraid of raising the ISO if you need it. Of course, I also like to shoot with as low ISO as possible. Sometimes it's better to take the shot than to not take the shot, if you know what I mean. When I'm traveling, when I'm walking in a city, I have my camera set to aperture priority, but I set my minimum shutter speed to 1/125th of a second. So it never goes slower than that. If I want slower than that, I go to manual if it's a dark place or something. And I set my maximum ISO to 8000, because I figured out that 8000 on my camera, the Sony a7 IV, that's recoverable. That is not always okay, but for city travel photography, usually okay. And if you bracket, don't be afraid of ISO there, because the noise will cancel itself out a bit when you combine the brackets in Lightroom, Photoshop, Luminar, whatever you use. So don't be afraid. Of course, you will stumble on pixel peeping gigs that says that you have to use 100 ISO maximum, otherwise the picture is ruined. Maybe 200, maybe 400, but not more than that. And some of them will probably comment on this video as well. Don't listen to them. I mean, care about the subject, care about the lighting, care about the colors. Those are the things that makes a good photo. Not if you see a little bit of noise somewhere. No. Don't care if your ISO is 1000, 1600, 2000. Don't care about that. Of course, try to get as low ISO as possible, but don't be disturbed if it goes up a bit. Because it doesn't matter. That's not what makes a good photo. It is a little bit like music. If you listen to an album and the songs are great and the performance really is emotional and good, you will like it, even though the sound isn't the best. And that's like noise in your photos. Imagine you're listening to an album where the songs suck, the performance lack interest, but the sound is great. Would you like that album? I don't think so. You listen to the songs, right? You're listening to the performance and the songs. You're not listening for the sound. The sound can enhance the song, but the sound cannot take over and make a bad song good. Get me? Yeah, that's it. That was my rant for today. So hope to see you again. And to do that, you could subscribe. It's free. And I have an announcement to make in a couple of weeks. So don't miss that.